Have you ever wondered what would happen if all the world's currencies were reset at once? Imagine a world where the value of every single currency is suddenly equalized. A radical concept, isn't it? This is what we call a global currency reset. It's a fascinating idea that has been floating around for a while now. It stirs the imagination and raises a lot of questions. But what does it actually mean? And could it really happen? Let's delve deeper into what a global currency reset really means. The global currency reset, in its simplest terms, is a major reset of all the world's currencies. Now, you might be wondering, what does that even mean? Well, imagine a world where every currency from the mighty US dollar to the humble Indian rupee is valued equally. Yes, you heard it right. This is the essence of the global currency reset, an idea that suggests a resetting of the value of all currencies at par with each other, irrespective of their current worth. This concept, as audacious as it sounds, is not a new one. In fact, it's been floating around for some time, and its roots can be traced back to the mid-20th century. The idea took its form after World War II, during the Bretton Woods Conference in 1944, where countries came together to set up a new financial order. The goal was to create a cooperative, peaceful global economy, where exchange rates were pegged to gold, to prevent competitive devaluations and promote economic stability. However, the global currency reset goes a step further, proposing a radical shift from the existing system. It challenges the status quo, envisioning a world where all currencies are equal, and no single currency holds the power to dominate the global economy. But here's the thing. This idea is not without its critics. Many economists argue that such a reset is not feasible, given the complex nature of global economics. They contend that the value of a currency is a reflection of a country's economic health, influenced by a myriad of factors like inflation rates, interest rates, political stability, and economic performance. Simply put, they believe it's not as simple as hitting a reset button. So we find ourselves at the heart of a fascinating debate. On one side, we have proponents of the global currency reset who argue that it could pave the way for a more equitable global economy. On the other hand, we have skeptics who believe that such a reset is unrealistic and could lead to economic chaos. So the question is, what would be the implications of such a colossal shift? A global reset of all currencies would have far-reaching effects. Let's delve into the potential implications of such a monumental event on the global stage. We're talking about a shift that would undeniably send ripples through every corner of the world economy. Firstly, let's consider international trade. Currently, countries trade goods and services using different currencies, with the exchange rates fluctuating based on a multitude of factors. Now imagine a scenario where all currencies are reset. The balance of trade would be significantly disrupted. Countries that once enjoyed certain advantages due to their strong currency might find themselves on an even playing field with others. This could lead to increased competition, but also to potential trade conflicts and disputes. Next, let's look at international relations. The power dynamics between nations are, in part, influenced by the strength of their currencies. A global currency reset could potentially tip these dynamics, leading to unforeseen shifts in alliances and rivalries. For instance, countries that were once economically weaker could gain newfound influence, while those that were traditionally powerful could find their influence waning. This could lead to a significant reshuffling of the global political landscape. Moreover, the financial stability of individual nations would be deeply affected. National economies are built on the value of their currencies. A sudden reset could lead to severe economic shocks. Countries with high levels of debt, for instance, might find it harder to repay their obligations if their currency suddenly loses its value. On the other hand, countries with strong economies might experience a sudden surge in inflation as their currency becomes more valuable. The fallout could be unpredictable and potentially devastating. Furthermore, this reset could impact the daily lives of individuals worldwide. Imagine waking up one day to find that the money in your bank account has a completely different value than it did the day before. It could drastically alter purchasing power, savings, investments, and even the cost of living. Also, consider the potential impact on the banking and financial sector. Banks would have to adjust their operations to a new monetary standard, which could lead to significant operational challenges and potential financial losses. It could even lead to a crisis of confidence in the banking sector, which could have severe repercussions for the global economy. In conclusion, a global currency reset, while theoretically possible, would have profound implications for the global economy. It would affect trade, international relations, the financial stability of nations, and could potentially lead to significant economic instability. It's a scenario that requires careful thought and consideration before it could ever be implemented. But is a global currency reset even a real possibility? That's the question we'll delve into next as we continue to explore this fascinating concept. The idea of a global currency reset has been floating around for a while, but is it really plausible? This is the question that has been on the minds of many, and rightfully so. The thought of a complete overhaul of the world's financial system is both exciting and terrifying depending on who you ask. So let's dive into the different viewpoints on the possibility of a global currency reset. Firstly, there are those who firmly believe in the inevitability of a global currency reset. These believers often point to the increasing instability of the current financial system, marked by mounting national debts and economic inequality. They argue that a reset would level the playing field, allowing for a fairer distribution of wealth and resources. To them, a global currency reset isn't just plausible, it's imperative. On the other hand, there are skeptics. These individuals, often economists and financial experts, argue that a global currency reset is not only unlikely but also potentially disastrous. They caution against the idea of a sudden radical shift in the global economy, warning of the potential for economic chaos and instability. They believe that the current system, despite its flaws, is more stable and predictable than any sudden shift would be. There's also a third group, the pragmatists. These are the people who acknowledge the potential benefits of a global currency reset, but also recognize the immense challenges it would entail. They argue that such a massive undertaking would require unprecedented global cooperation and coordination, something that's easier said than done in our politically fragmented world. The pragmatists advocate for gradual, measured changes to the current system rather than a sudden sweeping reset. So where does this leave us? Well, the reality is that a global currency reset, while theoretically possible, is incredibly complex and fraught with uncertainties. The world's economies are intricately intertwined, and any attempt to reset the global financial system would have far-reaching implications. Moreover, the feasibility of a global currency reset is largely dependent on the willingness of nations to cooperate and collaborate, which is a significant hurdle in itself. While the current system has its flaws, it's a system that nations have spent decades building and adapting to. A sudden shift could potentially lead to economic instability and upheaval. In the end, the question of whether a global currency reset is plausible is less about the logistics of the reset itself and more about the willingness and ability of nations to navigate the challenges it would present. It's a question that requires not just economic understanding, but also a deep understanding of global politics and human nature. Now that we've explored the concept and its potential implications, let's summarize the main points. The global currency reset is indeed a fascinating concept. It's a notion that has captured the imaginations of economists, financiers, and laypeople alike. It's a proposition that suggests a complete overhaul of the global economic order, a reboot of all the world's currencies to level the playing field and bring about a new age of financial fairness and stability. The concept, as we've seen, is no simple matter. It involves the reevaluation and reassessment of the value of all currencies based on a country's real-world assets. It's a radical shift from the current system, where the value of a currency is largely determined by market dynamics and the economic policies of individual nations. The implications of such a reset are profound. On one hand, it could potentially address many of the economic imbalances and inequalities that exist in the world today. It could provide struggling economies with a fresh start and create a more equitable global economic landscape. But on the other hand, it could also lead to economic upheaval, disrupt global trade, and create a whole new set of winners and losers. The plausibility of a global currency reset is a topic of heated debate. Some argue that it's a necessity, a way to rectify the systemic problems that plague our global economy. Others dismiss it as a fantasy, an impractical and unworkable solution that could do more harm than good. And there are those who sit somewhere in the middle, acknowledging the potential benefits but also recognizing the immense challenges and risks involved. In the end, whether a global currency reset is a possibility or not, it's a fascinating concept to ponder. It challenges us to think critically about our global economic system and how it can be improved to better serve all of humanity. It forces us to confront the realities of economic inequality and the potential for change. And it reminds us that in the world of economics, nothing is ever set in stone. We hope this exploration of the global currency reset has given you some food for thought. It's a complex concept filled with many facets and interpretations, each more intriguing than the last. The world of global economics is a labyrinth, a puzzle that's constantly evolving, and it's up to us to keep pace. Let's not stop here though. This journey we've begun into the intricate world of global economics is just the first step. Keep digging, keep researching. Be it the global currency reset or any other economic phenomenon, the key is to think critically about the information you come across. Don't just accept what's handed to you, question it, analyze it, and then form your own understanding. It's a fascinating world out there, one that's constantly shifting and changing, and it's our responsibility to stay informed. Remember, in the world of economics, nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Keep questioning, keep learning, and keep exploring. Until next time, thanks for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.